All right, everybody ready? Welcome to Inside the Broken Family. Today is a special episode, Christmas. So happy Christmas to everybody who's watching this on Christmas. That is the topic for today's writings, is Christmas. And if you're new here, what this podcast is we each week get together, we read short stories or reflections or poems we've written throughout the week, and we just share them together. So thanks for watching this, and I hope you enjoy.
Also a special episode because we're on location.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never gone to a new location.
Yeah, somebody else explain what's going on.
What?
You were dying to anyways.
I wasn't. We came to our son Pierce's house and his husband Jeremy's house. And they have invited us for dinner and to do the podcast. And you can see all their beautiful Christmas decorations around. And we are about an hour from home, and it's exciting to be here. Woohoo! Merry Christmas.
And the food smells delicious in the back.
All good to know. Any comments on last week's episode?
We were gone, so I haven't heard it yet. But
Well, you could have heard it.
I could have. I wanted to listen on the way, but Dad said no.
No.
Is that true, Dad?
I want to listen to Christmas music. You said
And what did you say?
okay.
Mom said we don't have very many days left until Christmas, and it would be nice to listen to Christmas music.
That's what I said riding in the car on our trip to Oregon.
We listened to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Did you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it was
we're
great.
finished.
Awesome.
What did you guys think?
I love it.
It's like listening to Dr.
Absolutely
Seuss
love
So good. It's like Dr. Seuss
on steroids.
on steroids, yeah.
it. And the
It's
voice
it's-
of the Grinch.
It's really good. Voice.
I really liked last week's. The guests were great, Diane and Steve, and I really liked your writing. I told you that on the podcast, but I really liked the style of your poetry right now. It's nice.
It's something.
It's becoming, I would say, Peyton's style.
Yeah.
It's becoming its own style.
I'm also not used to looking at you with that mustache. I mean, I know you had the mustache before, but now it's really grown in.
Also
Yeah,
Peyton's style.
You know who Frederick Nietzsche is?
Is that who you're trying to look like?
Look up who he is.
And is this a goal of yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna look like him.
Do you want to do a handle, like a twist it
No,
out?
no, just a wild mustache.
There's like just a furry creature.
Furry creature on
It's
my
what it
face,
reminds
living.
me. Yeah, if
You have a
you
squirrel.
smile, you have a broad smile, so it goes way out like that.
Yeah, for some reason the mustache doesn't look terrible on me. So that's good.
That's good.
Alright, I'm gonna start off.
I was going to say we should sing.
What do you want to sing?
Said no
Jeremy!
one ever.
Maybe if you were hosting.
No, I was just thinking when, I don't know what came to mind, but it went out. We should have had Jeremy sing a Christmas song though today.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Alright, this is called Why Gold. In a world where perceived gold, shovels, painted rocks, and false hope are all sold, we have been told that everyone can make it. That all 32 seats in our classrooms could find the pot at the end of the rainbow. That our teachers were not there because they had to survive. They were there out of the goodness of their hearts. It's not as if they were sold shovels, painted rocks, and false hope as well. Day after day, the agony of it all. The purposeful obscurity would drive anybody mad. That's the point, isn't it? It's not to teach the young how to think for themselves. It's not about giving people a life they actually want to live. It's about the teacher barely surviving, convinced of his own misled convictions. It's about the 22-year-old student going mad at the valid cracks in the system. It's about selling a world that doesn't make sense. The people who made all of this happen, the thinkers that came before, they want you insane. They want you to embrace the nonsensical movements and patterns. The madness they embraced has to be what everyone else embraces. The Christmas mornings under a grand green pine tree, their reality couldn't sustain it if you stopped buying their colored rocks. The teachers wouldn't be able to teach if they couldn't sell their shovels. The government wouldn't be able to pave roads if our false hope was taken. Our lives would change forever. I'm not prescribing any meaning, good or bad, to that. It just would be a killing of someone's reality and an embracing of another. But how lost do you feel right now? Do you really believe that you're the only responsible party? That your emptiness is completely your fault? Or did you have to give up all of what made you you in order to fit into a paradigm that's been forced upon us? You've sat year after dreaded year, opening gift after dreaded gift on Christmas, Easter, on your birthday. You've sat expectantly knowing your only worth comes from the gifts others give. But what if there was no gift to hold, no friend or soul left lonely? What if those perceived gifts were nothing more than remnants of a man's dying ghosts? An outlook on the world so powerful that it almost immediately stomped out any other view. Why open Christmas presents underneath a great green pine tree? Better yet, why sit in a classroom and listen to a teacher tell you something they don't even know? Why wait for the gifts yet to come, Jesus coming down from his throne above? Why do any of what you're doing? Well, I already know. And there is a reason why the self-examined choose to leave. To understand that gifts are only gifts because we were taught that, and shovels find gold and painted rocks are just painted rocks. Hope is a word used to prevent those who want to paint on the other side of a brick wall, and gold is only valuable through the words that others say. Most of us don't have the willpower to grab our eyes with our hands and turn those eyes so they're facing our brains. It might be a fact of human nature, or perhaps somebody designed all of this, a master of manipulation, a master of his own mind, a master of the blind, someone who knew that if you told people what a gift was, they would stop searching for what a gift is. Someone who knew that words create reality, so if I create the meaning of those words, people won't even know they're being controlled. Truth used to justify it all. Truth used as a word to justify it all. To make us fight over their definitions, their gods, their thoughts. To make us idle in our own. Truth is so dangerous because it does exist, but truth lies in a bed. Truth's bed lies in a pit so dark no man has seen it. Me and you will throw nuclear bombs coded in this word, truth, happily killing each other for someone else's perceived shadows. They tell you certain words shouldn't be used. A red cape pulled over a bull's eyes. Cuss words, fire in a crowded room, pronouns, God's name. The word we shouldn't use is truth because somewhere it is real. Maybe they found it. Maybe they only want it for themselves or want to protect us from what it is. That is the true gift we should be seeking, the gift of truth's existence. It's the one word no one will tell you not to use because without it they would be in the dark. Only we are in the dark. We happen to be choosing to sit in the dark together, feeling the fleeting comfort of another's soul rather than searching for the winding halls, the empty space, the nothingness that surrounds us for the beautiful gift no one has held yet, truth.
There's a lot in there. There's something you said at the beginning that was kind of a dichotomy of knowing versus awareness. And I can't remember the words you said, but there was just one sentence that you said.
Can you maybe explain what you thought he meant by knowing and awareness in that sentence?
That I think maybe it isn't for humanity to find absolute truth. Maybe it's something less than that. And being aware that we don't know and maybe we'll never know. maybe that's a part of what you were writing there. That's I guess all I can say that's coming out of my mind.
That's fine.
It makes me think how often in the history of mankind, humankind, that people have used the idea of truth to hurt, to control, to enslave. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. And so it makes me think of this idea of like, instead of trying to find truth, it's this Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of idea. It's like, it's all preposterous. It's just all preposterous. Like, none of this makes sense. And there's something a little more freeing in that idea.
Yeah.
Than holding on to capital T truth.
Yeah.
Or I think maybe you were describing of making something else, call it gold, and calling that truth.
Calling it a gift or gold or a
Like
shovel.
he's taking something that you can say is truth, so that then creates your power. But if you go into it with no, it's all preposterous and none of it's truth, and you can't find it. You can't find that truth through anything. Then you don't have to go through the trouble of getting sold a shovel, because you just, I don't care about it. I don't care about the gold, so why would I care about the shovel? I don't need any of that. Which I think I like that part of your analogy.
I think that's really what's going on is, like, we're all sitting in the dark together, like we're feeling each other's comfort, and we're calling that truth, but it's just we're sitting in the dark together, and that's what we're picking up on. Like, truth is something that is something that I don't think we've even come close to seeing. We can't even perceive what that actually means. It's in the dark somewhere. In the dark, you can't actually look. But we try. Some of us do. And some of us just sit in the dark.
I think a lot of us have different truths.
I agree.
And like today, I thought we were talking about Christmas. That was deeper than I thought we were going to get.
I talked about Christmas.
Yeah, you did.
I have
You
a
brought
question.
it. You brought it up into the end about.
Nana, how deep do you think Christmas goes?
Well, I was thinking sort of steep.
She was hoping.
Thinking happy,
She was hoping.
happy stories of Christmas.
It's so interesting. I don't see what Peyton wrote as unhappy in any
No,
way.
I didn't. It did come to your last sentence when you talked about I think it was last sentence. We talked about bringing it up into what is it? I can't remember the words. I'm terribly sorry, but
Feeling the fleeting comfort of another soul rather than searching the winding halls, the empty space, the nothingness that surrounds us for the beautiful gift no one has held yet. Truth.
yeah, I think I like how you brought it up into that, because sometimes maybe at this time of year we do spend a lot of time on the gifts or what we think is true, and we don't maybe connect with people.
Yeah.
And like I had a situation yesterday of a gentleman that came up. He was selling tamales, and I said, I don't really want any tamales today. And he said, I'm just trying to make rent. He had really broken English. And I said, I tell you what, let me see your Venmo. And I said, I'll just give you a gift. Mm-hmm. And so I did $100, and he couldn't believe that I did that for him.
Yeah.
And I said, can I have a hug? And I hugged him, and I thought that was more of a connection with a human being than I could have had doing anything else yesterday.
I understand exactly what you're saying. That's actually a part of what I was writing about. That's what we perceive a gift as. That's the only thing we perceive a gift as, is you giving something to somebody. Why is that the only perception of a gift we hold?
Well,
Why is that?
I thought more than that was the hug, like the connection we had.
Why isn't, I'm being a little facetious, but why isn't my presence enough?
That's funny. Your presence is enough. I think your presence is important, because that's part of it, right? When we all come together.
Yeah.
And we were hoping that everybody would come and be a part of this today.
I think your presence isn't enough because it's not enough. That's the only reason. It's just because
It's fleeting.
Right, but that's someone else's truth.
Someone
right?
else's perspective or truth, whatever you want to call it.
like you've sold this
That we come
other
and just
truth
sit.
that in order to be enough, you have to be
Right.
something else.
What if your
Give something.
What if your presence is only enough if you're willing to get up from the dark room everybody's sitting in and to go look around?
What if your presence is only enough when you're sitting in a dark room with everybody and you're able to just be in the dark room?
Be in the dark room.
You don't have to go look
Don't
around.
have to look for anything.
You just know you're
Just
not going to
being.
find anything.
Yeah.
As you are.
Yeah, you aren't going to find anything.
It's a darker room. It's a dark room.
Well, I would say even though there was something monetary in that yesterday, I thought the most important thing was the connection that I had
Yeah.
with that gentleman with a hug.
Yeah.
You wouldn't,
that's
have,
beautiful.
you wouldn't have had that connection, though, if you hadn't
No, but
done
I
so.
could have just said no and walked away, but
Or
we
you
had
could
a
have just
genuine.
or you could have just sent the Venmo.
And
Or
I'm
you
gonna
could have just given him a hug.
I'm gonna be pessimistic, and this is just hypothetical, and that could have been a complete manipulation. He went and bought alcohol with all that money.
He could have, but he
Yeah.
handed me his
But
card.
like so that
he handed me.
we just don't know.
Right.
We don't
but,
know.
But after I hugged him, he said, "Here, in case," and it was very broken English. He pointed at that he paints and he does drywall, and he does these things.
He
And
seems sincere to
He
you.
seems sincere because he handed me his card.
Yeah,
Said, "I
yeah.
would like to work.
Yeah.
Here's my card if you need anything."
Yeah.
So it wasn't just.
What if he was an illegal alien?
He
I
probably was.
don't care if he was wanting to work. That's great.
Mm.
It's fine. There's a whole deep subject we could go on that. But as
Yeah.
far as people wanting to work
Yeah.
and be a part of our society, that's great.
But
I
that
have a
was
question.
for
I
you.
have-
It was a great moment yesterday.
I thought it was nice.
I have a question
Yeah.
about gifts and Peyton's poem and what. Does it matter if he goes and buys alcohol with that money?
No, I
To you.
didn't judge. No, that's my thing.
Yeah, that's what she's
I
saying.
have
I think,
started.
Is that it doesn't matter to her.
I told.
She's trying. I think you're trying to say that.
Well,
but
yeah, no, it doesn't matter
like
to me.
when
I
my
didn't
dad
say
says
it.
if he could have gone and
We
bought alcohol,
might have.
with
I
that,
can't stop it.
I think the response is doesn't matter. Like I got a
Well-
hug and Venmo him. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Either way.
But
No.
that goes back to, in my mind, that goes back to not a connection, but I'm being who I want to be as a human,
Yeah.
and I can't control anything else.
Right. I made a decision a few years ago that I was going to take some money and that in every month I was going to, if a situation like that came up, I would help someone or do something. And so for me, like maybe 6 months ago, I carried $5 bills in my purse. And I just thought, whenever I see somebody on the street, if I feel like giving something to them, then I will.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge whether what they're gonna do with it. I decide that I want to give that to them no matter what they do.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have done this year. And it doesn't matter what they do. It's the fact that I would like to try to help someone, and I don't know what they'll do with it.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about this conversation, and you'll know more if this is getting close to. What I think is interesting is I think Mom is being an experiential, in the moment example of exactly what you wrote. It's like, or at least a piece of it. She's touching on these themes.
In a way, but actually she's missing, and I think there was one line I wrote in there: what if there was no gift to hold, no friend or soul left lonely? This thing we call gifts, these things that makes you feel good in that moment.
It just, if I made a promise to myself to do
I know.
something.
That's what I meant, is that piece.
Yeah,
she's encompassing
yes,
that.
I'm the bad part of your poem.
No, that's not
No.
no. At all the
Yeah.
bad part.
Yeah.
It's just some of the points Peyton was
Yeah.
making are present right here.
Yeah.
Right. I don't do that for recognition. I did that all just because it was something I decided I was going to do. We have a lot.
Yeah. Well, and at that point, it's not a gift anymore. It's just something you decided to do.
I would offer that that there's a tie between the two,
Mm-hmm.
and that what she gave was half tangible and half something else.
Mm.
Half of it was a tangible physical money thing,
Mhm.
but with her intention in why she gave it wasn't about money at all. She gave him something intangible, like comfort or security or hope in a moment. So
But-
it
Well,
kind of ties both.
And the
points
thing
together.
is, it doesn't like, you know, you made the comment that whatever he did, but the thing is, it was just, I thought, I mean, I can't understand him very well, but all I know in that moment, I felt like he seemed like a genuine man. I don't know for sure, but I thought, and I asked him, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And he said yes. And so I gave him a hug, and that's when he then felt comfortable enough to give me his card.
Yeah.
To say, here, any work.
So
And he pointed it
The
down.
question I want to ask is, so you decided to do something years ago. You decided that if you
Yeah.
saw somebody in that situation, you're going to help
Sometimes, not
them.
always.
So it has nothing to do with the actual man. It has nothing to do with his situation. It has something to do with what you decided.
Well, and
That's what we
that's
all
what I
do.
have to decide.
Is that what a gift is, though? Because we all decide, well, I'm going to provide my kids a gift every year. It's not something that you're actually thinking about. It's just an action you're performing. It's not. There's no meaning involved.
Oh no,
with it.
not
It's
at
something-
all. I feel like for
I don't
that
think-
situation.
I don't think Peyton's saying that that's what. Like you're just.
I'm
giving
asking
gifts.
a question.
No, right. I'm saying for those situations, I just, if something sparks inside of me or whatever, and I feel like, oh, I do have that. I can do that. I can help that person or do something.
Yeah.
Then I just do it. I don't say, oh my gosh, now I have a recognition for that. You know, no, it's just the fact that I thought,
But in a way, that's what you're doing because you brought it up, right? You said
Well-
years ago I decided to do this,
oh.
and by
yeah.
saying that,
I just
you're
was talking. I'm not trying to get recognition.
well, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's
I mean, I
recognizing
told
yourself.
Dad just because we're
But
married.
why can't it be a cognitive choice by mom to try to reach out to another human being in that way and it be genuine?
It
Why
is.
can't-
That's the question I'm asking. That's the question I'm asking is what we perceive as genuine, what we perceive as birthdays, Christmas, all of this
Right.
as genuine actions to help somebody out a little bit more.
Or to put a
Is
smile
that
on somebody,
deeply rooted
put a smile on somebody's face.
in the disingenuine, in the false hope, in the gold, in the shovels? Is that rooted in something that isn't what it seems like?
Maybe in people's opinions,
Maybe
maybe
in
in yours
some.
or some. But the thing is, like for me, normally Christmas is a time and both me and Dad love giving, love doing. We get excited thinking about each gift for everybody,
Mhm.
and it's not just
It's been part of us for our whole life together.
Yeah.
And we genuinely love to do that.
Yeah.
We made our first Christmas gifts. That's all we could afford, for the family when we sent things. We did.
If we didn't enjoy giving to the family, we wouldn't do it.
No, we
Yeah,
do what most
agree.
people our
We
age
wouldn't do it.
They just give a gift card, or they'll say, "Oh, I just give $50 to my kids, or $100." They go get.
Why is that different than what you do?
I feel like to me that's more not as thoughtful, or I don't know if that's thing. I just have liked our traditions more than that.
Something you just said. If we didn't like giving to the family, we wouldn't do it.
That's absolutely true.
So that's what Peyton's saying of like, it shouldn't be because you enjoy it.
But you don't have to. You
That's
don't have
true.
To point that out.
Or
That's true,
it's,
but
it's like just is.
in my being, I won't even put mom in this. In my being as a human being, there are moments where I enjoy reaching out and giving in whatever way.
Yeah.
Whatever way it can be. It doesn't have to be a
Would you
gift.
say
I'm-
that's a core of who you are?
I think that's part of
I'm
it.
going to give
Yeah.
another example. Okay. Dad and I were driving down the street. Dad goes, "Oh, shoot." And he turns the car around and he pulls up, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he jumps out of the car, and I get out of the car, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And he finds this young man in the snow, face down, and he turns him over, gets him, whatever, and we're trying to figure out what to do. And here this young man had passed out,
He had a seizure.
and, well, we don't know.
No,
'Cause
that's what the family told us.
That's what they think. But anyways, so But we stayed with him, waited till we could get family to come. Somebody finally came walking up that knew him, but told us his story, and it was quite a hard story of drugs and things. But we didn't walk away. We stayed there with him because he would have died if Dad wouldn't have seen him, and he was in the snow. And that was nothing monetary for that. There was nothing.
That was just spontaneous. That's
Yeah.
and
Was that
anyone-
just spontaneous?
I think
Absolutely.
so.
Or have you decided in your life, if you see somebody laying face down in the snow, you're not going to leave them?
I don't even
I
think
don't know.
that.
What do you
Is that
think about
bad?
that?
I don't even.
I'm not prescribing
Is there
anything.
morality?
I don't
Is there
even.
morality
I
to
don't
that?
even think that is something that was pre-thought.
It wasn't even a thought. You
That
never
was
thought
just.
about-
That
Of course
was
it was.
just.
I-
That was
Well, no,
just
it's
a
just an act.
reaction.
I
But
don't-
how are you saying that? You went
When
to
I was-
church.
No. When I was 17, and I think I shared this story. A guy hit our trailer when we were hunting.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a moment of thought.
Yeah.
I just did.
But there was no thought before of heroic action.
No.
There was no
I
thought.
think you're
Whoa,
narcissist.
no, you can't-
If
you
you're a
can't-
narcissist, if you think
Listen,
of
just
more.
as a professional who thinks about people's minds all the time, we aren't that simple.
Well, maybe
We
I
aren't.
am.
No, you're not. You're
No,
just-
that's a cop out. You do that all the
You're
time.
not.
That's-
You do that all the time.
That's not how your brain works. It's not how anybody's brain works. So, and I think all Peyton is saying is it worth thinking about?
Yeah.
Are there deeper things here?
Yeah.
Are there deeper factors that
Am
are
I
contributing?
actually giving to people without a reason? Am I being unreasonable and having no reason whatsoever
Is
to
that
share?
unreasonable or is that not unreasonable?
Not unreasonable, not in a way of good or bad. It's not
Well-
like it's literally meaning without reason.
Well,
Being without reasons. There's no reason behind. There's no justification. I think that's what, if I may offer, I believe Peyton's touching on. Is there a justification? Do I get a reward?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, no matter what. And it doesn't matter, but I think what they're touching on is the intention behind the giving. And I would offer, and I've experienced that what they give is not always physical
Yeah.
and tangible.
Yeah.
I would offer that what their intention in giving is in the physical thing is also intangible things as well, which is 10 minutes of joy in playing with a toy
Yeah.
is days worth of experience on a new snowboard.
Yeah.
I would offer that there is a middle place of like, what is there a reason? Am I being without reason and just giving without any expectation or
Yeah.
reward from me?
Well-
And also that questions like, why am I giving?
Mhm.
And if you're giving with intention, I think that's very special.
And is that important? That fleeting feeling of feeling another's soul in the dark, is that important?
If you're giving that,
It's
so-
fleeting and it's going to go away. But is
Well-
it important to feel that?
well, there's a lot to that.
Is it important to recognize it?
Yeah.
To
How
just
can you recognize it?
I don't know. You're in the dark. How can you recognize
How
it?
can you?
Is it something more than just what we try to explain as our awarenesses?
Mhm.
Is it something that's built in us that we can't explain or can't find some answer to it? Is it something there more than ourselves?
Yeah. And is it there for you to
Yes.
recognize it? For you to, but you have to first look.
For that individual to become aware or recognize that.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Pierce, do you have a story?
I have a poem.
You have a poem?
Great.
You ready?
Sure.
A home for the home. Sorry, I'm listening and just.
No,
Thank
thank
you. Chime in.
No,
Just
I
come
like it.
behind and share
So you can be
next
heard.
time.
Can I be heard? Okay. And we'll
You have
figure it
a
out.
No,
voice,
if you want
Yeah,
to
just
chime
come
I
in.
know
so
how
they
to
see
throw
your
it.
cute
Come
face.
right here.
Just
Like
come
this
so
one
they
over
see you.
there.
Yeah,
All right.
Pierce is like,
I
let's.
decided that I was gonna write last minute, and I threw together this little poem,
Great.
and I tried to just write one sentence, and then what I ended with, I just tried to rhyme, and I haven't
Okay.
done that in a long time. So, this is what it is, a little Christmas poem. Okay. The fire crackles, casting shadows long.
but Christmas shadows linger like a distant song. A family rift, a silent, icy rain, leaving echoes of forgotten pain. But Christmas spirit, ever so divine, can melt the coldest heart, a love sublime. Forgiveness offered, a whispered plea, to mend the broken bough on the family tree. The carols sing, a sweet and hopeful sound, as loved ones gather, finally found. But a Christmas wish from me, for all to just be.
Oh, that's
How
awesome.
how amazing is it that that exists inside of you and it didn't have life until you just gave birth to
You
it?
breathed it.
Yeah, but that was so what's
was
happening.
beautiful.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really pretty.
And I could hear the conflict in you with wanting the family to be together. And in spite of that, maybe not being perfect, which it isn't, you still were feeling a Christmas spirit. And that was well written.
Yeah.
Beautifully written.
I hope
you.
you share that with everybody too.
Well,
He just
did.
did.
Not everybody. Oh my golly!
Listen to the
Everyone
podcast.
listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
But maybe you could send it out.
What, Mom? What?
If they will listen to the podcast one day and they'll hear it.
Yeah.
Or they won't.
I really like that you said you just did this, right?
Yeah.
You're like
Yesterday I wrote the main thing, and then today I kind of was messing with trying to
Cool.
get some of the words.
you're like a testament to how I feel writing should be, which is just let it out and let it be what it is.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful that came out of you, like Jeff said, that just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know how you guys do that because
Mom,
mine
Mom.
don't sound like that. But you guys
Mom,
all sound so
stop
good when
comparing
you do
and
that.
it will happen for you.
It definitely isn't like some perfect process.
No,
I mean,
it's
I
great.
changed a lot of that.
It's a
today.
struggle.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because I kept wanting it to rhyme, and then I was like, that word doesn't work. I have to find another word. And so a lot of it was me kind of doing some research and figuring out words that made sense in that. And, yeah. I didn't spend a ton of time. It was just a little bit of effort to
Well-
pull that out of myself and put it on.
The softness of your writing was what for me was really beautiful, and it really kind of reaffirmed what a beautiful person you are, and how you're so compassionate and caring, and that showed in that writing. Really felt
Thanks.
that.
A quick question. Nobody has to answer. Everybody can answer. What does forgiveness mean to you guys?
What a
That's a tough
broad
one.
question.
Yes.
You know, I used to think forgiveness was one thing,
What?
but it's much deeper
What did you
than
think
what
it
I
was?
used to think. I used to think it was just forgiving the person that hurt
It
me.
was literally, I'm sorry.
But what does that mean?
No, I mean just that,
Like a
like
literal,
like a li-
I'm sorry and it doesn't bother me anymore. Like,
Is that what it means?
just simple to the point of if they did this bold, maybe just did, like you said, a sorry or whatever, that was fine. But then I realized forgiveness is much deeper. It has a lot to do with ourselves. And that took me a really, really, really long time.
What does that mean? It has to do with ourselves.
Well,
What does that-
because yes, forgiveness has to do because I'm thinking of, I'm just picking if you were harmed by somebody or hurt by words, whatever it is, I remember feeling I have every right to be angry at that person because of what they've done. I don't have to forgive them because of what they've done to me or to the family, whatever it is. Right? And then you start to figure out that and you want to maybe tell everybody what's happened because they've done it I didn't do it, they did it to me. And then what happens is all it does is it's like a splinter that festers. And it festers and it gets deeper and deeper. And then pretty soon the only person you're hurting is yourself.
Mom, you just wrote poetry.
Because this person may not even know what they've done, and maybe they do.
They might not even care.
And they may not care.
They may not remember.
It depends on how.
They may not remember. Dad's sitting there. He's like, if I've done anything to anybody, I'm sorry.
No, and the older you get, you don't remember certain things. But that's the problem, right? When it becomes to forgiveness, it's a tricky one. Because I always believed it was one-sided. It was either me needing to say I'm sorry or to talk with somebody because I hurt them, or that person do it back to you if they had hurt you or whatever. I didn't realize there's kind of a two-sided thing in that at times. Now, some things could be very different, but on a, whatever.
Anybody else have any other thoughts about forgiveness?
So what I offer to your family from, yes, an insider's perspective because I'm loved and welcomed, but also from being able to observe a bit as being outside, I would offer that anger, like, everyone is entitled to experience their feelings. You're entitled to experience whatever those feelings are, but oftentimes what we show other people of that experience doesn't align with the true feeling. Oftentimes what we show other people is anger and bitterness and all these other secondary emotions. But if we stop and look at ourselves, it's more often than not, I would offer not anger, it's more another thing. I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm betrayed, and so what you're giving other people doesn't reflect the true feeling, and all they have to interact with is what you're giving them, which isn't real. It's not a real representation of,
or
so
it's not
complete. It's missing pieces.
And in that, maybe walls are being built against that hurt.
Yeah.
With that other
so
human
it's a
being.
protective.
Yeah. It's all self-defense, and it's not good or bad.
Right. It just is. I mean, it's what.
And going back to forgiveness too, I mean, I kind of think that the world and how society looks at the word forgiveness, it's a selfish thing. We look at it as like, oh, I'm going to forgive that person, and it's going to help them.
Yeah. That's
But forgiveness is actually all about forgiving yourself. Yeah. And that word, we put power behind a word, and we say, oh, I'm good because I forgave them.
We think about it as a gift.
Maybe some people do.
Look at you, Mr. Mustache.
Can it be part of
more poetry?
Can it be part of in the moment taking responsibility in your life?
Yeah.
Accountability.
For your accountability to move forward. And
maybe that's kind of what I was saying in that poem. I mean, I think I used the word forgive because it rhymed, but I think that more than anything I was talking about just being able to exist, and that right there is very powerful. If you can forgive yourself for whatever story you're making in the moment and just be. There you go.
I think I've learned a lot in this last 7 months of podcasting.
You're not alone.
And talking to my kids. That there is stories that are all different. We all have different ones. And right or wrong of where they sit. And that forgiveness is a whole different thing. And it's really where we are. And, obviously when someone's been physically harmed or somebody's taken a life, those take on a whole different things, right? But they can also hurt you by how you're left to deal with those things, right? But then when we think somebody's said something mean or whatever it is that we are having trouble forgiving people or whatever it is, we also, like I said, can turn it and it becomes more harmful to us because we're not being present and sitting.
Most of those selfish emotions, like forgiveness and jealousy and those type of things, they do harm us if we look at them in the wrong way. Like, those are normal things to feel, but if you're looking at them like putting them onto somebody else and not taking accountability for those emotions and where they're coming from, that's where it can be harmful to yourself, because you're literally creating a blind spot.
But
for
I
yourself.
honestly never understood all of that. That took me many years to understand a little bit of that, to get to a better place, and also to learn that I'm hearing people. Like, maybe we're all saying something and I'm totally hearing it different, right? And I'm angry about that, and then it takes me to have to be a big enough person to actually sit and try to hear what they're saying.
Right.
I was just gonna say, I was just thinking about the word forgive, and forgive, as I kind of thought about it just now, it's for before. So you have to forgive before you can give. So it's before giving. You have to forgive before you can give.
Forgive.
Very true.
The forgiving.
Before you give.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Sounds like something Dad would come up with.
You could
That's
never
really good.
actually.
Sounds like
give
something
anything
Jeffrey would
to
come up
anyone.
with.
That's right.
Forgive
He
yourself.
did.
Tell you're related.
It's just a word.
All of it's just words. And somebody, why would we even think about forgiveness in the way that we do? Is it just inherent, or did somebody design it that way? Why would they
Did
design
someone
it that
sell you that idea of what you think forgiveness is?
How did our words originate?
Yeah, how did they? The scholars,
How
the
did
politicians,
how did they
the
start?
kings.
The parents.
Someone wanted to manipulate someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's.
But
there's a lot of truth
that's
in it.
part of it.
yeah, that's part
Right?
of it.
Because then there's this other part of humans that's like, how can I describe this beauty, whether it's outside of me or I'm feeling it? How do I articulate that outside? How do I help someone else try to understand that?
Yeah.
I think there's something there too.
Words are just sounds, but they have power because they come from us.
Mm.
From our brain. maybe.
Words are literally just grunts and
Yeah.
noises. They have
Yeah.
no like
Yeah.
Energy release.
They're just energy release from us.
Yeah,
That's why we can hurt
yeah.
and create.
Which is why I think it's important to think about the words that come out of my mouth, right? The words that I choose to give life to, they carry energy.
100%.
And I think that's really important.
Yep.
I think that this 8 months that we've been doing this, for me, has generated a little bit of that, of slowing down and thinking about the words that come out before they come out.
Mm.
So that's been a great thing with this podcast.
Who's next?
Jeff,
Me?
You were gonna jump.
I am Jeff.
I know.
well, all three of you are Jeff.
I know.
Did you write it?
All right, this is a little story I was thinking about pagan traditions of winter solstice, and then suddenly, because they were working on a telephone pole outside of the house, power went out, and we had this little experience that I was observing as a family. And so this story came out of this little experience. I take some things from my own life, but really it's just a story. So it's called The Lights Go Out on Christmas. The rays of the Christmas Day sun are fading quickly, swallowed by the shadowed mountains to the west. I sit in my chair, feeling stuffed as the turkey was hours before. The remnants of Christmas dinner strewn about, ignored by those who did the strewing. The lights around the living room and on the tree begin to shine brighter as I unbutton my pants, giving my restricted stomach a little more room. My eyes rest on that reel, sparkling with lights and supporting a plethora of ornaments Christmas tree. Sadness washes over me. I really love the tree this year. Kind of sad it's over. I share with my wife, who is sitting across the room on the couch reading a newly opened novel. That's nice, dear, she responds sweetly, not even lifting her head. As my eyes comb over each ornament, I think about how I used to see Jesus in the tree, symbolically holding my family safe. I can't see him anymore. It has been difficult to understand Christmas this entire season. I was so sure for so long. Every present, every star, every light, every gift spoke of his name. His salvation hung everywhere. His story was Christmas. The empty cross has toppled over in my head only to sit on its side, causing the Christ in Christmas to be X'd out. My broken heart sees betrayal in the star on top of the tree and the manger scene. My calloused eyes only see the death of Christmas in the ripped paper and a family together but shattered with the explosion of truth. I stand up and walk over to the tree, my eyes holding desperately to the many memory-packed ornaments. The same type of desperation I tried to hold on to my religion with. You know, the pagans would decorate their houses with greenery during the darkest days of winter, I say out loud, with a little too much force. Nobody stirs, except a little mouse that scurries across the kitchen floor. I just watch. I walk over to my youngest, only a year old, blissfully diving into empty boxes and covering himself with crinkled wrapping paper. I lift him out of the box and above my head. The Celts told of King Arthur being reborn, a child of the sun, on winter solstice, I say to him. He whines, as if I have destroyed his Christmas, and he wiggles to return to the gift remains below. I wander over to my 5-year-old, making animal noises with her new animal toys. She looks up at me, lifting a horse for me, encouraging me to join the herd. The ancient Norse would kill 9 animals on the 9th year in celebration of the light returning, I state, factually, reaching for the toy horse. She frowns and pulls the toy to her chest, unwilling to offer the horse to me any longer. I turn my eyes to the TV where my 11-year-old uses a controller I wouldn't even know how to hold to fly some machine shooting aliens wearing Santa hats. I look down at her and bequeath more pre-Christian wisdom. In the Baltic region, they taught Sol, the goddess of the sun, rode a sleigh pulled by reindeer through the sky, dropping amber down into hearths, reminding those below of the light of the sun. She looks up at me, removes her headphones, and asks, "What?" "Nothing. Is it a fun game?" She nods and smiles, drifting back into the virtual world. I turn to my 16-year-old. For the first time since dinner, she lifts her head from her phone, looks at me, and cocks an eyebrow at me, saying several things at once. With no word, she seems to say, "I don't want to know, Dad." And, "Are you okay, Dad?" I shrug and turn to the kitchen, where my 18-year-old can often be found. He likes history. I'm disappointed remembering he left for the night to be with friends. His priority at this time seems to be taking every chance he can to dance with Mary Jane. My disappointment and pagan musings are cut short by noise and sudden darkness. The 5-year-old screams as if her entire herd has been slaughtered to some unforgiving god. The force of the scream seems to throw the 1-year-old from his Christmas box, and his cries are added to the distorted carol. The 11-year-old shouts, "Come on!" at the TV, while the 16-year-old adds a chorus of, "What the hell?" Then there was light. The power didn't return. No artificial lights around the room or on the tree. Just a single match lighting a single candle. Sometimes my wife is a ninja. My daughters are drawn to her like moths moving towards a flame. I scoop up the gremlin and we join the candlelit group. I'm scared, whimpers the 5-year-old. It's just the power, honey, my wife says. The lights will be back on in a minute. Mommy, will you read me a story? Asks the shepherdess of the group. Sure, honey. My 5-year-old pulls out The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, seemingly from thin air. A very Jesus-esque move on this cold, dark night. The group settles around the candle, bearing narrator, and nestles in deeper. To hear the tale of hearts growing, just as the Grinch is shoving some ungodly-sized sack up a very tiny hoo chimney, our front door bursts open, throwing cold air and a short-lived scream into the room. Our oldest came back. The power is out, he shrugs and says simply, as he moves towards the candle, as naturally as a tongue is drawn to a falling snowflake. He settles among them, and the narration continues. For the first time in a long while, my family is sitting together, all focused on firelight and a voice. As this tiny flame causes shadows to dance on our walls, my heart warms. Presence and attention is a wonderful Christmas gift. My wife finishes another grand rendition of the Christmas classic, and our 5-year-old repeats, I'm scared. We won't leave you alone tonight, honey, my wife says, soothes. Don't worry, I remind the group. Even if the lights don't come on tonight, the sun will rise in the morning. And in that moment, I feel connected, not to any man-made God, but to all those who have lived in darkness before me.
You had a moment where you talked about standing with your family, yet your family being shattered by truth being brought to light.
Yeah.
So that was really, really powerful little bit in that story. The realization that you were something before, and that was shattered. And you still are something, but you're not for sure on what that is.
I love the realism of that, as you say, story, because I can picture every member of your family in that moment was what you wrote about. And when all there was a voice and a candle flicker, that's when it came home to you of the beauty of that moment. Yeah. That was real. Yeah.
That story seemed real.
Yeah.
Parts of it.
What symbolism were you thinking about when you said Mary Jane?
Come on, that's a pretty obvious question.
Choices
I
made.
that.
I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Very descriptive.
Go ahead.
Go.
No.
I just really liked the part, I don't remember exactly what you said, but it said the best gift or a pretty good gift for Christmas is presents and something else.
And
Right at the end.
that's exactly.
Attention.
Wait, that's
I really-
exactly what I was going to talk about. Exactly.
let
so keep
Pierce-
going. No,
Yeah,
that's.
I just really like that. I've always thought that like one of the best gifts we can ever give to another human being is our presence, is an attentive moment and being with another person. So yeah, I just like that line. It was great.
It was what.
And how you ended it. It did
Yeah.
really, it was a very
How this-
poignant ending about Christmas and Christ and God, a man-made God, and what is real, which is the sun rising tomorrow and darkness.
Mm.
And that connection is powerful.
I
Maybe
really
in-
like that.
Maybe in being present is something that we have to be aware of, and that is the greatest gift that we can give another human being, is just being present in that moment.
I think it's the greatest gift you can give yourself.
Yourself.
No one else can
You are a human being, so I mean it's the greatest gift that you can give yourself.
I think it's an important
and another.
What if there was no gift to hold? No friend or soul left lonely?
And it would just be you sitting.
There is no distinction.
Sure. Yeah. So that's a good way of putting it.
That's my belief.
Yeah. And my only point is, I think it is a wonderful gift to give to people. But past the giving, once it leaves your hand, metaphorically, for me it's out of my control. I can't do anything with how someone receives it, not receives it, views it, doesn't view it. I have no control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had Jeffrey called to the flame. What, in your view, was why did you write Jeffrey in that way?
It was just the character coming home. I wrote two times that happened in the story. The group was sort of
I
pulled
must
to
have
the
missed that.
flame, and then when the 18-year-old came home, it was just sort of a natural thing, like sticking your tongue out.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. How long were the lights out? Couple hours.
Oh, you mean
Oh.
literally?
Yeah. Literally.
So it was literally nighttime when the lights went out?
No, it wasn't.
It was the daytime.
This was a story, guys.
No, I know, but
Literally.
It
Was
felt
there-
like there were parts of it
But
that
you
were
said-
very, very
you-
That is so real, Jeff.
yeah, but you also said there was something with electricity when we were gone. Was there?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what sparked the story
Ah.
for me.
That's what
Okay.
he said at the beginning. He
There's
said
a
that
new-
he watched his family go through this, and he wrote a story based on that.
There's a new telephone pole outside our
I guess I didn't know
street,
this.
or on the front of our
I
driveway.
think the part that wasn't completely true was, why was I on the couch reading a book?
Again,
It's
not
a
a
story.
story.
It's a story.
And
Jack, you did too good.
I'm really curious. What book was
That's
on
all
the
you do,
reading?
Amelie.
Outlander. Okay, you were reading Outlander.
Whoa.
Goodness,
Wow.
that's quite.
Why do you think she didn't look up?
There's
That's
some
nice
good love
to hear.
scenes in that movie.
Oh,
I mean, book.
All right, Dad. You ready?
I think I know your pattern.
Well, you can take a guess once it's done.
Okay.
Did you really have a pattern?
Yes.
I did. I always have a pattern.
And I think I know the pattern.
I liked your story.
Great. I don't know the pattern.
You're done with the pattern?
I don't know the pattern.
So I guess to preface this, it's Christmas next Wednesday, and we're all sharing a little something about our version of Christmas. And what prompted this was how excited I've been that, Mom, you have done the best decorations of Christmas time in our home ever.
I think it's the fireplace and the brick. I think the change of that made it seem like it's more Christmassy.
I think it's the fireplace and the candles and
Yes.
everything.
Cozy.
It's just been, in my mind, the most perfect decorated Christmas
There could be
ever.
a perfect decorating Christmas. Dad has found it. It is fun
Every
with the
nook and
lights.
cranny, every shelf, every mantle, every bulb, every light, every nutcracker like Pierce and Jeremy have here, and the tree, just everything. So anyway, that's what this comes from.
Don't try VR.
Yeah.
Okay. That's messing with you.
I just can't get over Dad's horn. We've really got to cut that out.
Huh?
Do you see the horn?
Cut it out.
Why would you cut it out?
Do you see
The lore is true.
this? It's just the light is shining perfect on you right there.
This is a lipoma.
Okay.
I think it's not a horn.
All right. The title of this is Cozy Christmassy Kaleidoscope. Rocking gently, embraced in Sherpa softness, warmed within by winter solstice magic, as a quiet, flickering fire performs a glowing dance of orange and blue and yellow flames, licking at the edges of my mind, radiating a pleasant heat that slowly draws my eyelids down. Abby.
Bah! Bah!
Blinking.
Bah! Bah!
Trying to focus, all is dark. All is calm. As the fire throws an ambient light coupled with the Christmas tree's color flux glow and soft candle flicker. My eyes slowly continue to focus on a wooden figure of an enormous sheep. Whoa! Startled, I jump to my feet, stumbling backward, realizing that I'm teetering at the edge of our fireplace mantel, and catch myself from falling as I cling to the leg of the angel, avoiding the 100-foot fall to the tiled fireplace hearth below. Be of good cheer, the Lord Jesus is here. I looked up into her kind eyes. A glow emanated around her, and I thought to myself, I must be in the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Or maybe Bar Wars. But no, it's probably Ant-Man. In any case, I don't know. That makes no sense. Letting go of her, I slowly walked past the sheep and donkey. I nudged myself between the shepherd and wise man to hear a newborn baby coo. Kneeling down by the manger, I gazed into his eyes. My heart felt warm. Peace enveloped my soul as I looked up into the smiling yet exhausted eyes of Mary. Joseph stood by their side, watching. I didn't want to leave his side. So much love emanated in that space, in that moment. Tears flowed freely. I didn't understand. And as no words were spoken, it didn't matter. Time didn't matter. I slowly stood up. My focus shifted. How was I going to get down from here without dying? I asked myself. Excuse me, I said to one of the shepherds. Do you have any rope by chance? He looked at me, obviously confused. I pointed to the donkey tied up at the stable, and then, understanding, he opened his satchel and took out a coil of hemp rope. Toda Rabba, I said simply. He nodded kindly, and going to the other side of the stable, threw the loop end of the rope over the balcony doorknob, tied the other end to the stable post, and shimmied down the rope to the doorknob. But as I steadied myself there, the gigantic red Christmas bell hanging from the door jingled. I froze as I found myself face to bad dog breath face with a giant brown furry monster. Archie, go! I hissed. He dejectedly put his head down and returned to flop himself down on the couch. I let out a quiet sigh of relief as Archie's eyes slowly closed. Psst, psst. I looked over to find myself eye to eye with a giant snowman, adorned with a black top hat, sagging carrot nose, friendly coal eyes, and smiling coal mouth, dead branch arms and hands sticking out from his sides, a snowflake and red scarf hanging from his snowman's neck. Hey, he offered. Jump down on Whiskerton's soft white beard. He won't mind, and that should give you a soft, quiet landing. Thanks, Frosty. And unlooping the rope, I wrapped it securely around my shoulder and jumped. Aye! Blythe up a riven! Oh my, I said, and quickly jumped off of Whiskerton's beard, landing onto the vast hardwood floor. Grizzlebeard and Bristlebark both chimed in unison. Sir, forgive Whiskerton's mouth. You woke him, and he is of a foul, irritable nature when aroused from a deep, gnomish sleep. Sorry to have disturbed you, my friends, and bowing, offered, have a very merry gnomish holiday. Suddenly, the floor was shaking and vibrating. I looked down at my feet. Was it an earthquake, I thought? I looked across the vast wooden floor space in front of me to see a giant black ball of curly hair with an enormous pink tongue flopping, lumbering ravenously toward me, oblivious of all creation. Again, for the second time, I froze. Cornelius, the giant nutcracker with his view of my entire dream world, exclaimed, "Run!" I did, but Sadie wasn't interested in me. I don't even think she knew I was there. Luckily for me, she missed stomping me to death by her paw's hair, as her only focus was to noisily lap water from the base of the 300-foot pine tree looming above me. By the time I ran beneath the tree, Sadie was gone. Being out of breath and needing water, I climbed the Christmas tree skirt, leaned over the green tree stand edge, and gulped water until the sharp tip of a pine needle pricked the inside of my tongue. Ouch! I had had enough. Taking a deep breath, I peered up through the branches and found a gigantic green pickle. My stomach growled. I began to climb, passing caroling snowmen, singing jingle bells, and many different Santas exclaiming, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas." I felt a drip, drip on my head and looked up as Olaf smiled. "Some people are worth melting for," he said. I continued to weave my way through branches adorned with multicolored green and red and silver gold ornaments as the Christmas lights sparkled around me in my ascent. Peace on earth. One of the round globes glowed. Our first ornament spun in front of me. 1983. Glistening Christmas bears holding hearts smiled. Sparkling rainbow trout wiggled for water. Angels sang out, "Joy to the world," and I continued to climb, stopping to rest atop a friendly giant red-nosed reindeer, rocking on a peppermint candy cane base. "Thanks, Rudolph," I thanked him, and he nodded his antlered head. "You're welcome." Continuing upward, I could hear the Grinch and Ebenezer reminiscing over good old times as they good-dayed each other with broad, mischievous smiles. I continued to climb, passing Nemo, who seemed to be nervously saying over and over, "It's okay, it's okay, I'm looking for somebody." I yelled back, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming." As I neared the green pickle, I offered a greeting of, "Hello, Jack," but he was too busy frosting my wintry dream world to notice. I reached out to grab the end of the green pickle, and as I sank my teeth into the salty, vinegary goodness, the giant Christmas tree began to spin. I held on with all my strength, but the tree spun faster and faster in a magnificent mosaic of sparkling, glittering, twirling wonder as I flew through the air to land softly on the Christmas bear sitting in the old rocking chair next to the warming fire. I slowly blinked, smiled, and breathed deeply. I nestled cozily under my soft blanket. "Merry Christmas," I whispered thankfully to myself, "and have a happy new year."
I like that.
I think if I dreamed like you, I would be very tired when I woke up.
Yeah, that seemed like quite the journey. Like a whole trip.
That was literally like.
It was
First of all, it was so good. It was so cute. It was like the Nutcracker story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
It
what
was
I was
similar to
thinking.
like I just kept thinking like dancing around with the toy soldier.
I like that. I like that
It
he's
was
holding his
really
knife.
good. I'm in there listening. Like it was like charming. You should put that into an actual book.
It would be a cute book.
It was really cute.
It was a good winter wonderland, Christmas wonderland setting.
Well, and I
Like
like
the
this
setting.
all the different things you did along the way, and your accents were very good as you hit the Scottishman. The gnomes.
They were gnomes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are the gnomes? That's the part I
Right
couldn't
behind.
connect.
So.
Right there. See?
Oh yeah.
Those
Yeah,
three.
no, yeah.
They're at
those
the
three
door.
gnomes. So there was Whiskerton, Grimmerhead, and,
Oh, and that's
Bristlebeard.
Because they're at the door to keep the air from blowing in.
Mm-hmm. So what he said, is that what you're thinking, Jeff? What the gnome language was? It's like he was shocked. And Blake Bayran is spirit of gnome deity of the forest.
Is it like Icelandic or
This was
Gaelic?
gnomish from Tolkien.
I see.
Tolkien
Cool.
created this
Yeah.
gnome language.
Yeah, that's
and this was
crazy.
part of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. You wanted? I don't know if I missed it. I don't know how I missed it. Did you eat it? You ate a pickle?
Oh, it's pickle ornament.
So Mom and I have always, since we were married,
Yeah.
Mom was given a ornament of
Yeah.
pickle, an old ornament, right? No,
Oh, it's for Molly and Scott.
it was from Ollie and Scott, and you were I guess what we were told was that you hide it in the tree somewhere, and then you have to find it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first person to find it's supposed to get a gift. But our trees are always so open, they don't hide really well. We haven't played that game.
So on this adventure, I was, from all my running and climbing and
You're
jumping,
tired.
I was tired,
Yeah.
and
What
my
is the
stomach
pickle?
growled, and I saw the pickle. I'm gonna go have a pickle.
Okay. I chimed back into the story as soon as you bit into the pickle, and I was like, "Wait, what did I miss?"
It was really cute.
So Todaraba is Hebrew for thank you very much.
Hmm.
And I was thanking the shepherd for lending me or giving me his coil of hemp rope. And I thanked him in Hebrew. It just came out. I mean, I don't know why in my dream I could speak Hebrew or Gnomish or anything else. It just was there.
It's amazing.
It was fun. Really fun.
Very cute.
Jeffrey, you ready?
Or do you want to do it?
I'm the host, actually.
Well, I was just
Nope, I'm the host.
not disturbing the people.
I'm the host.
Just thinking more.
If you were the host, that'd be a lovely thought.
I was just laughing at the plot.
So that was a dream that you had recently?
He just wrote it.
No, like I said, Nan and I have
You said it. I just want to say it was the beautiful was so descriptively good. I just believed you. It was just your
It's
truth.
like Jeff.
It's a dream I could have had.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a dream like that? That'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
All right. My Christmas story is called "The Tale of Three Trees." (Parentheses mushrooms).
Oh, this will be
Here it is.
interesting. Here we go.
Once upon a time, there lived a man whose name gets drugged through the same dirt that made Adam in Eden. Every Christmas season, a man called Jesus. Most of you guys know him as Jesus, so I'll say Jesus from now on. But do you know how his story really goes? It doesn't start in a manger, but it does start on a Christmas day in 33 AD. When the Jesus man ate 3 Christmas mushrooms. You may have heard the story told through 3 trees, but I will tell you the story told how it happened. I will tell you the story with rhythm in my voice, so the imagination has no excuse but to listen through my words. I will tell this story with a poem. First mushroom, the manger. He sat beneath the stars, alone, a man with hunger, lost and worn. Had no comfort in that storm. However, the light of a star led in the wild to a mushroom cap, so tender and mild, brought visions of a newborn child. The warmth of hay, the breath of night, a manger small, aglow with light, the gift of a golden bed, the baby lay, the cries of birth, the world's first day. His heart once hardened, now did break, the world was born for his own love's sake. A spark of joy, so pure, so true, a child's first breath, a light anew. Frankincense and myrrh, and in the darkest, a light so pure. He saw his soul, both lost and sure, and in the manger, the child, the man, the sacred name, he became. Second mushroom, calming the sea. He ate the mushroom in the middle. This one was stronger just a little. He stood upon a storm-tossed vessel. The waves like demons clawed the sky. But in his heart, no fear, no cry. A whisper soft, a roar of peace. And in the chaos, the winds did cease. The storm obeyed, the seas grew still. A gentle touch, a calm, a will. He walked upon the waters wide, explored the rivers of his mind, with nothing but his soul as guide. The storm of life could not remain. With every step, he broke its chain. Third mushroom, the cross. The final cap, the bitter taste, he ate slow, the world in haste. Upon the hill, the wood so tall, and with a darkness the length of 3 trees, he gave everything, he gave it all. The nails went deep, the pain, the cries, the sound of iron on iron sighs. He saw the world with opened eyes, the weight of sin, the weight of love, water and beauty as a sacred dove. A cross, a death, a rise above. Forgive them, he whispered, weak. For one soul the truth did speak. For from one soul the truth did speak. They knew not of what was done, a battle only fought if able to be won. His heart so broken yet complete. He knew the death, the gift, the feat. He knew the depth, the lift, the beat. The earth did quake, the skies did weep, and in that depth the world did sleep. Closed eyes of those who worship sheep didn't see that in that tomb a seed was sown, a life, a resurrection, a mushroom was grown. 3 mushrooms eaten, 3 battles beaten, an adventure of one, a did that can't be undone. A God from birthright, the Son of God, a baby from his mother's sight, the God of the Son. A soul who met himself again, told through words and a magical pen. The mushrooms that let him truly pray, Jesus ate them on one Christmas day. So when you think of this man named Jesus from your pagan sacked religion, know how he sacked all religion when he ate 3 Christmas mushrooms on one stormy Christmas day.
It's a new version of 3 trees.
I actually really enjoyed how you that's like I really enjoyed how you tied that together. It was really nice. It really was. I'm gonna find something.
For me, it was kind of like I felt in a way that the story that we know so well of Jesus and these really like well-known stories of him, that this Jesus eating those was able to experience those type of things that we all experience and that Jesus experienced as well. So very interesting.
I like that. We all experienced what Jesus did as well, or Jesus.
Yeah.
You had this line in there that said his heart broken but complete or something like that. It made me think of one of my favorite songs. The first verse is short. It's from Bring Me a Horizon, 10 Statues of Cried Blood. It says, I guess that some of us are born with tragedy in our blood. It's just basic chemistry. Or maybe all these open wounds is how the light gets into you.
Wow. I need to listen to that song.
That's a
You
good
can
song.
listen to Eminence.
Oh, we have. We have been listening to Eminence.
Shout out to Eminence if you ever want to come on the podcast. Please, please all of you
Everyone,
guys.
the whole band.
Whole band.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool. Like, obviously, that story we've heard, the three trees, and every Christmas, and we listened to that. So it's cool to like see where your mind took that story.
I think it's
How long, before you go, how long have you been reading The Three Trees?
For as long as we've
10
been doing
years?
Christmas.
No, it's been maybe
Night,
10 or 15
Christmas
years.
nights.
It's been
yeah,
here.
I would say
Utah.
between 10 and 15
It's
years.
not been the
You didn't do
whole.
it when
I started.
No, it's been 10 or 15
I
years.
think I
10
remember.
years.
I remember
It wasn't
getting.
before being here.
I thought I remember doing that in.
No, we never did it. It was here. Definitely here.
Do you think 10
Hey, why are you
years?
so quick to discount his experience?
Because I was there every
But so was
childhood.
he.
Well, yeah, but he's old.
I
No, it's
I
been
When
somewhere
did
in the
you?
last
When
10,
did you?
15 years.
When did you give? The,
I gave that to you
the
as a
nativity.
gift.
No, not that. When did you give the nativity play?
Oh gosh,
When?
he was 5, 4.
Right.
But you didn't. We weren't doing the 3 trees back then,
No.
Jeff.
Well,
We
were
just
doing.
did the little nativity.
We were doing the
That's all we
nativity
did,
play.
and then eventually we had the chimes
Mhm.
that you made
Chimes
and I
definitely
owned.
came
I
first.
made
They
them
were
chimes
in
and I
Ione.
owned.
They were there.
But I thought the Christmas tree was
No.
pretty close.
Mm-mm.
The 3 trees.
That's you've only been
It's in
doing
Utah.
10
But
to
it's
15
been
years.
been some years.
I think, now that you said it's been 10 to 15 years, as a child, I remember the first time listening to it, and I thought that it was just that first memory of me being there while listening to it, but I think I'm remembering the first time you did it.
Hmm.
And then the next year, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, maybe.
I
that
think what
story.
happened
I
is
remember that, looking forward to
we
Three
found
Trees.
like a poem of it. There was like a poem you did first, and then we bought the book.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's really cool, this idea that these universal ideas and these ideas that are beyond, that are captured in Christ's story and his told experiences. I think it's really cool that you capture that as like happening within a person,
Yeah.
and then that expands out to like that's in each of us.
That's how I saw it too.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I thought it was very, very beautifully written. I really liked your preface to the whole 3 poems, and then your breaking up of each one, making it distinct, and I really liked all of that. The way you structured your story.
I really loved the rhythm of your poems. I like to rhyme too, and I think you do it so well. Like you rhyme and then also has rhythm and beauty to it. So.
Thanks.
All right, Mom.
No,
She's not going.
I'll do
Do you
it.
want to read?
No, let's see how many more people we got.
Okay.
Who has stories?
No, just on me.
Just on
And
Ryan
Abby.
Abby?
Abby,
Abby, you're up.
because I'm starting to fade.
Face was
We're at
We have
an hour and 40-ish
Well,
minutes
we
right
just
now.
that hasn't.
I'd rather hear your own writings.
Right. I know.
no, it's actually okay. I feel you.
This is a cozy night.
This has been really nice, Pierce. This setting has been nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think we're all comfortable too.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it. That's important.
Okay. My story is called The Yeti. In a quaint attic apartment, there is the most perfect Christmas tree. It's lit with warm whites and reds. There are many ornaments scattering the tree, but this story is about one. At the top of the tree, there is a Yeti named Bruce. Bruce sits upon the tree day after day, watching the humans that live around him. He has dreamed of his first Christmas since the day he was made. As Christmas was right around the corner, he was watching intently and was confused. He could tell the humans were stressed, but shouldn't they be able to move right past it and be happy with Christmas joy? He watched them scurry around, trying to find gifts for loved ones. He watched the tears they shed when thinking of dead loved ones. Anger came out many times from high emotions and deadlines. They fought and loved, and the Yeti realized this wasn't what he was expecting at all. He had an unrealistic expectation of what the holidays truly are. All the humans were focused on was consumerism and obligations. There were arguments of what family they should do what with, and who deserved their time. Bruce came to the conclusion that Christmas time has changed, and that was okay. He watched the humans make their own traditions and embrace the crazy. His first Christmas was perfectly chaotic. The end.
Shall we say this, folks? Yeah.
So Bruce was curious about the humans' traditions, Christmas traditions, and that was okay.
Yeah.
You said that Bruce noticed everybody just focused on consumerism and obligations. What did you mean by obligations?
What I was trying to mean was just like, I feel like sometimes you have an obligation to do something because of the spirit of Christmas, I guess. Or, like, I'm not saying this about me, but, like, in general, sometimes. But some people, I feel like, because I felt it at points where you have the obligation to give a gift to people. Instead of, even just like with birthdays, where you need to, or feel obligated to show that you care through a gift, in order, and instead of just like being.
I think for me it was, it's no longer this way for me, but in younger years of my life, it was, what is someone going to think about me if I don't?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've strangely never thought that. I just really I really enjoy giving gifts.
You've never thought that.
That
That's
is
a crazy
strange.
statement.
It is. You know what's really funny? When you said
No.
consumerism and
Well-
obligation, it turned on the commercial.
That
It's
is-
not that. Yeah, I mean,
Needs to
I
be.
obviously have thought. Obviously, I think too much of if I give somebody a certain price thing, then I worry about dumb things like that. I worry about it being equal, which I should never worry about. That's just dumb. But I really do genuinely like to buy Christmas and do it.
I think
we've just enjoyed it. And birthdays. I like to do birthdays.
Yeah.
I think that I shouldn't speak for you, but I've lived with you for 41 years. That you are the type of person that doesn't want to have anyone left out,
No,
right?
not purposely.
You never think that way.
Those who preach togetherness need togetherness.
Well, no, it's just I still think of the tree I didn't let them
Yes.
have.
That was an evil side.
The one time in your existence.
I should write that story.
No
This
kidding.
made me feel bad. I tried to get you to. I tried to let them have them up there, and you just said, "No way, Mom, not now. It's not any good."
I was a brat.
You know, because
I was.
it was like, of course. You know, as I thought about it, I can give it that to them, and you were like, "No, it's done now." But I that's for me. I just have always genuinely enjoyed giving it. I mean, I think people do feel pressure, but I think I've enjoyed
Is
it.
there an obligation on the other side? When you get a gift, is there an obligation to sort of put on a smile and like it?
There is an obligation. You don't have to follow it, but it's definitely there. But only because of the perception of the gift giver. If they don't see you happy about it, then that means that they did something wrong. So it's like you're causing them pain if you don't react.
It blows my mind to think about how much of my life I've navigated reacting to what I think other people are perceiving of me.
Reacting to something that's not even real.
Right.
No
Yeah.
proof.
Yeah.
Well,
other than our own creation.
Yeah.
I think in gift giving for me, I'm always like, if you want to change it, you want to get a different size, you want to do it, or you want to take it back. Like I'm always like,
As a resounding message.
well, yeah, but I feel like if you don't like it, don't keep it. Let's find something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because, that's just the way it is.
Would you mind sharing your family's Christmas experience, what it looks like? Just with pertaining to
Poor little
gifts
face that
specifically.
you did that. She just went in
horrible.
like
No. Just like it touches on what Jeff's saying. With the obligation of
Yeah.
receiving a gift.
Yeah, I do have a scene, or not a scene, a face.
All of your family does.
Yeah, but
like,
just do a thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it the same?
Always made that face for me on a couple of gifts
Oh,
I've
yeah.
given her.
And then
Well,
you're
yeah,
like,
I did to Dad too. Dad, this is the problem.
Oh.
Well, like in
That's
our.
so thoughtful.
Oh wow!
Well, that's because men sometimes don't think as much as women do
what? Do you really believe that?
What did you just say?
for gifts.
I think that that's you gotta be careful with statements.
Oh, okay. I'll not do a blanket statement, but I know in some of our gift giving years.
I have definitely been thoughtless. I promise you.
Do you, no, I actually have a question. Do you actually believe what you just said?
in-
Because that's a lot of power. We were talking
Just-
about like
Talking
power.
Well,
about
I'm
me
talking
here.
about
She's
him.
talking about me.
Okay, so
I'm
that
talking about Dad.
No, but
and
still,
I
that
just,
still pertains.
I took it
Still
all
fits.
in as all men were like that. No, there's just a couple of things that, like our
Let's
first.
point them out.
I know, but our
Yeah.
first. No, I will go to the one.
freaking Christmas.
I will go to this. I will do just this one thing.
Do
Dad's
two.
always been really good about getting gifts, but this one year he decided there was lots of stuff he wanted, so
that
he
was
ga-
I remember
he
that
gave
year.
them all to me.
That was
All
fun.
his gifts he wanted, everything was what he wanted.
There's
Like
always
even
two sides
down,
of the story, though. I'm
even
sure
down
Dad
to
has
a
a
nose
reason.
trimmer.
I'm sure Dad has a
Of
reason
hair.
for
Yeah, why did you do that?
that.
Do you
Because
remember
last
that?
year nothing was good enough, so he said, "I'm going to give all the gifts for me." This year."
I'm gonna make sure I like all the
I don't
things.
remember the year before, but that's probably why.
No, that had nothing to do with it. I think you just laughed
Wait
at
a
yourself.
minute. I
could.
know
I
that
think
didn't
you
have
just
anything.
It could be.
Why
It could
do
really
you
be
know
that.
that it
Maybe.
didn't have?
I probably injured him in lots of Christmases. I don't know.
Alright.
Yeah.
I
You don't
believe
have
it.
that much power.
Okay.
That's what Jeff
Thank
said.
goodness.
You don't have that much.
Oh, you can say
I
something.
have
Go for
much
it.
power over you.
Hold on, Abby's got something to say really quick.
With the gift giving, I don't think the person necessarily doesn't want to give gifts. I just the idea or the question is, should the person be, I guess, allowed to give gifts to who they want without the obligation of sharing it with everyone? Because like, what if
Yeah, like what if a sibling wants
yeah.
to give a gift to someone
What
that
if
doesn't
I
want to give
found
someone?
something specific
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
But then I felt bad. I didn't have something for everyone else.
Well, that's maybe where we go
I
down.
agree. Like I think it should. I don't. It kind of goes back to the poem that Annalie read in terms of like it would be great if families could come together with zero expectation.
Yeah.
But how could you do that without having, like, with a holiday? If a holiday exists, Christmas Day exists, you can't have a not expectation. You can't.
You can.
I don't know how.
But you could talk about it. You could create that environment together and all agree.
But then what if one
Good.
person gets 10 presents and another
But
person
that's
got
an
nothing?
expectation. That's exactly what we're saying. Is if you go into something truly with no expectation and you're just there, then it doesn't matter if somebody gets an
Yeah.
extra gift. That what matters is that you're there with no expectation.
It doesn't work that way as easy, I don't think.
Well,
I
you're,
think-
you're
I
saying
think
you
it
can
does.
have no expectation. You can truly have that
Yeah.
and still plan a day. That doesn't make any sense.
Sure you can.
No.
Well,
Because
I
the
think
plan, the day itself, if you say Christmas exists on this one day a year, you're creating so much expectation in those words. Just that.
Just
you
like a
don't have to do
birthday.
anything else. Exactly.
Just like a birthday.
You don't have to do anything else. The saying that Christmas Day exists creates expectation.
I have a question.
The only thing I'm disagreeing with you on is the absolute in which you talk.
I'm just
Yes, I
because
do think it's possible to do.
I think he's talking. I think you're talking about absolutes because that's your experience,
I'm
right?
well. I'm talking about absolutes because you're talking in an absolute. Like you can have an absolute
I think it's possible.
expectationless day.
I guess-
I don't
what,
think that's
those
possible.
words that you said. Like
what expectations come up in your mind when someone says Christmas Day?
It's not about what comes up in my
No,
mind.
I'm just asking because you have expectations that you say there is certain expectations. So what are those?
No. That's I understand what you're saying, but that's not what I'm talking about.
I'm asking you that question. I'm not really.
You don't care about. What
Not really caring what you're talking about. Okay. I think we're on the same page, but I'm asking that question.
Christmas Day is. I mean, I can't deny the expectation of gift giving. I can't deny the expectation of Jesus Christ, because that's what the day is.
I disagree with that.
I can't do that. I can't deny that. It's a reality that exists.
So those are the expectations
that I have to carry.
Why? So why do you think that you have to carry that?
Because
it
is the reality of Christmas.
So why do you believe that? Like, what?
It's not about what I believe. It's about what society
clearly
believes.
There's people who don't believe that.
There are people.
It is
what's
all
what's
about
the driving force? Are you the driving force of Christmas? Can you really say that?
Yes, 100%. That is what it is. That's what it's all about.
But you're not the commercials. No, it's not. America.
You're making Christmas.
Consumer. No, that's what it is.
You are making that.
But I'm talking about the objective experience of Christmas.
Your objective.
No, I'm talking about
which is the subjective experience of you.
No, I'm talking about the objective experience.
What is
I'm talking about everybody's experience.
That's not my experience.
That's what it is. You're denying what the objective.
What am I denying specifically? What is that experience?
You can hold your own expectations. Christmas Day was decided for you. You can't hold your own expectations.
So I think that so you're saying that I can't hold.
You can't.
I can't hold different expectations than what has been given to me?
Yes, you can. You can say you are, but you can't do that. If you're calling it Christmas, if you're saying what everybody else has already given you.
Okay, so what if I give you an expectation of a different Christmas? Then you have to have that expectation. So if I gave you the expectation
of Christmas,
you have
is the dominant worldview.
If I may, can I have a little working example of my life
in
this? So when me and Jeremy were first here in Ogden, we made some friends that were really different than we had ever been around, and we got invited to a Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
And at this Friendsgiving, they had all decided that they were going to give gifts, but we got invited kind of last minute, and I didn't know about that. But I was going with pure I didn't know what to expect, and pure no expectations. I knew it was Friendsgiving. There was a name to it. I knew there was going to be food and friends. And in that, when everybody started giving gifts and I didn't have something to give, that initial reaction of like, oh, what are people going to think? I didn't bring this. These are new people I need to impress.
Yeah.
But then I realized that nobody else in that room had any expectation for me.
Yeah.
And either did I. In that moment, I actually let go of that expectation that I had learned from my childhood. And I said, wow, these people here are actually here with no expectations to share space and gifts and each other with no expectation of what's going to happen or what the Friendsgiving is going to look like.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying completely. I get that. That I do understand that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Back to what you did say. You did say that's the prominent worldview. That's the prominent. I would maybe Utah.
I'm coming at this
from the worldview. Maybe
I'm coming at this.
I would pick states.
I'm coming at this from the perspective of me looking at people and looking at myself and not seeing as much free will as we all think we have. We use words like that. We use words like letting go of expectation, like we created it.
We did.
We didn't.
Yes, we did.
It was given. No. It wasn't something we chose. But this is at my belief. This is not your guys' belief. This is at my belief.
Why is it your belief?
Because of my own experience.
What is that experience?
Yes, that experience of not feeling like I have as much free will as what we might think is just from me going back and examining my life. That's all it's from.
I think
and being objective in that.
I think in this forum of talking about a person's perspective, that we should give that grace to every person. Just like Pierce's experience, that was no expectations in that moment.
Yes, I agree.
And for you, maybe there's more expectations because of the worldview or whatever else.
Yeah.
But in another moment, one of us may have a totally different view
Yes,
of
and
that.
that's all okay.
And that's good.
Yes.
It's good and it's okay.
Yes. And even if I do, even if it feels emotional, if I
Right,
talk
right.
about it,
Right.
it doesn't mean that I like damn anybody else's
Right.
worldview because I'm saying my worldview. It doesn't matter.
I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the perception on perceptions, making a story a reality out of something that's not even there. Of just like you're giving, at least from what I'm hearing, you're giving that expectation
Power.
to Christmas.
Yes.
And you have no, I've learned this from Pierce actually, you have no way of interacting with Christmas in a different way because that's how you have to interact with it. Is
Yes,
because you're
but-
giving Christmas that expectation. I don't think Christmas is giving you any expectations. You're giving that expectation to
Yeah.
react
Yeah.
to the way Christmas is. It's like
Yeah.
a mirror in itself.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey,
Ultimately,
you,
if
I-
I look at it like that, you're right.
I don't think it's about
But-
right or wrong.
No,
I don't either.
I don't think so either. I use that wording because that's what we always use.
You can see that point of view
Yes.
coming to life.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, it goes back to what you just said, that story that may or may not be real to you is real to another person.
No, what is a
That
story?
story.
What is a story? Is
Well,
it
that whatever
real
that is,
or not? No.
that
Story is
event.
only something we tell
A
ourselves.
story is only something we
Not
tell
with other
ourselves
people.
until
Okay.
it has fact and actuality behind it.
There's no history behind some of these stories. That
There's
we talk about?
experience.
experience for sure.
Experience is different.
But just because somebody else in their world makes it so real and they live in that reality,
That's true.
that's just our power and our creation.
That's for
Making
that
it
person
real.
to figure that out and be aware of that and to maybe take a step back
Well, one
from
of
But
that.
it's not a
one
bad
of,
thing.
One of the
It's
things I
not a
want to
bad
say
thing.
that I think I agree with you on is that the second we're born into this world of the families, we're programmed structures internally, belief systems.
Yeah.
That happens automatically.
Yeah.
That's beyond our control.
Yeah.
What I disagree with you on, at least what I think I'm disagreeing with you on, is I think we can get enough awareness and enough presence within ourselves that we can start to take apart those structures,
Yeah.
examine them critically,
Yeah.
and have nothing there if you want. You really can have nothing there.
I do agree with you. I agree with what you just said exactly. But I don't see it happen
I mean,
often.
just
That's
live
okay.
live in that moment of having nothing. Not that.
Sit.
I have. I've sat in that
That
moment.
is a beautiful place to be if you've deconstructed yourself or that thought to the point where you have nothing.
Yeah.
Then what are you left with?
But- Yeah.
Everything.
But is there any
Pure
value?
creation.
Is there any value in an ego? What you're talking about is that there is only value in the nothing.
Yeah.
How could that be when C.S. Lewis exists?
It's not value. It is
How
not
could
a
that
lack of
be
value.
when Charles Bukowski exists? How could that be when Albert Camus exists? How could that be? I can't rationalize that. I can't figure that one out.
Well, how
Because
could
I agree with you. I agree.
I got lost in the question, so I only heard the second part, so I didn't follow.
So with your question, how could it not be with those writers? Like, why does the writers make it so that?
Oh,
Like, how does those
'cause you-
writers contradict that idea?
Those writers were hugging onto an ego. They built it. They built something. They built themselves into something. They weren't nothing. They didn't accept nothing and just sit there.
Why in your mind, why is building yourself into something ego?
That's what ego is.
Why?
It's
Help me
picking.
understand.
So as you go through life, you go through life and you have experience, and these things happen, and you get to pick and choose what you hold on to, what you choose to grab onto, and to let that be your experience.
There's a difference I would offer between the id and the ego.
Okay.
Identity, how you interact with and engage with the world
Yeah.
versus what you construct.
Is
They can be distinct things. They can feed into each other, but they can also. It's okay for them to exist as well.
Yeah. So the
That's
identity.
not good or bad.
The identity to you is separate from the ego. The real thing you are, the thing that you can self-actualize, the thing you can find is something that already exists. The ego is something you
but
build.
your ID is always there. Your id is there.
All right. Well,
On that note.
On that note,
I will read my story.
I have to interrupt you and say how beautiful those earrings are.
No, I thought the same.
Really pretty.
I thought they were best. So I said last week that I was going to start earlier, and I did. I started on something else, and then this is what happened after I wrote part of that one. So that one might be next week, but this is based on a dream that I had, and it's called, I'm going to call it Santa's Elves. Nothing can prepare you for a moment that changes your life forever. Those moments come and then pass in a breath. I'm sitting here looking at my Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. This year is different, painful. A lightning of pain shoots through my chest as I remember the moment I heard the words, "I want a divorce." I had known things weren't great, but I thought we would figure it out. I was wrong. He had found someone new. I had also thought that pain was the worst. Wrong again. 14 days ago, my 13-year-old son looked at me from across the kitchen table and said, "She is my mom." I felt like he took my heart and pulled it until it ripped in pieces. At that moment, I stood up and walked to the next room with the pain spreading through my body. It was hard to breathe. Thoughts of my children stepping away from me towards someone else felt unbearable. Tears flowed down my cheeks. How did I get here? I screamed in my mind, cupping my face in my hands and then dropping to the ground to a ball. My 3 children still at the table sat silently. I heard my 10-year-old scold her brother. "Why would you say that? She is our mom." "Yeah, she loves us," chimed in my 5-year-old. The tears kept flowing down my face with the pain. I know my son was lashing out after me asking about his grades, but that doesn't stop the pain. Just then, there is a knock at the door. My kids run to answer the door, and I collect myself, slowly walking to the front entry. I am met with excitement, and my daughter's yelling, "It is a present," and with a note. I glance at my son, his eyes soft as they met mine. I hold his gaze for a few moments, and then move my attention to the excitement and my 10-year-old, who starts reading the note. On the first day of Christmas, your secret elves. I don't know why I'm really emotional. On the first day of Christmas, your secret elves bring to you 1 Christmas orange of milk chocolate with a hint of mint too. May it sweeten your night as you partake. We will be back tomorrow, for goodness sake. I looked at the sweet faces of my children as they enjoyed a piece of the orange. "I love you," I said as they met their eyes with mine. The gift really did sweeten our night that night. Night after night, Santa's elves came. Came with a gift. Now on Christmas Eve, my children are gone to their dad's house. I am still feeling excitement waiting for a knock. Santa's elves come for the last time. The last note said, "On this Christmas Eve, we bring our last gift. Your Santa's elves must be light and swift." We hope the past few days have brought a little joy. It may not be much, but here is a little toy, one for each person in your family this night. You may open while Santa's sleigh is in flight. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas tomorrow. You have touched our hearts more than you will ever think. Tears started flowing down my cheeks as I held the note and looked at my tree. Things are different this year. Still painful. Thank you, whoever were my Santa's elves, for bringing me and my children a little joy this year.
You seem, well, from how it seems like you have very, very intense, vivid dreams often. Has that always been the case?
Probably.
A lot of good memories tied into this time of year.
That's what I was thinking about the 12 Days of Christmas. Doing that. Dad did it when you were little, and a couple other times, but I know, didn't you guys do that too? Get that?
Oh yeah. Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Jeff Nolly. Where he gave gifts.
It doesn't matter, but yeah. Yeah, it's just a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
I don't know if a person could have a more terrifying dream than that. That horror of separation or divorce or whatever you want to call it. That's
Horror that happens to people every day.
yeah.
That's
it
what I was
does.
thinking, actually. I'm
Maybe
sure
it's
that's
not a horror sometimes.
Well, sure. There's always the need, I believe, for it, but
What do you think the percentage of need is? Do you think it's more often than not that people need to or don't need to?
I think it's a matter of connection too. I mean, if you love somebody and you're with them and you're trying,
But there's
then
more than trying. Sometimes it's abuse.
well, that's I think the exceptions, right? I don't know.
But your story, Emily, I'm sure there's going to be people who are alone at Christmas because of situations, and I'm sure that's very hard time of year to have to be alone.
I was gonna say I think that's a really good writing piece of story because you can't really put that as as a broad story. It fits very
Niche.
contextually and
Yeah.
it has
Specific
the ability to hit you
experience.
personally rather than as a broad scope because a divorce is just it's kind of just a thing that happens but making it into this very emotional personal thing is different, I think.
Allows for connection.
Maybe it's sad to me that divorce is just a thing.
that it
maybe that's-
exists at all?
Maybe that's really sad to me.
Well, yeah, but
That divorce is just a thing.
women in the 1700s would plead for divorce to be just a thing.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's exceptions to everything.
Well, no. What he's saying is, what if you lived in a reality where divorce literally could not happen no
Right.
matter
Right,
what?
right,
It was
right.
against the law.
What would you think then?
Probably the same thing.
You
on
would.
on the other
No,
side.
Would you?
On the other side.
You would
Why do you think that?
that you wanted divorce for a person?
That I would
being
want
weak
that person to
Maybe.
be able to have
If you're a
that
misogynist,
freedom to get away from abuse.
patriarchal, you believe men are
absolutely.
better, which a lot of men
Well,
did, then you
yeah.
would think,
Women
no, I
would-
own.
Right,
I'm able to beat my wife with a switch that's as big as my thumb.
Well, that is a terrible
but that's what
Terrible.
happened in
But that's the reality.
I know, but that's a terrible thing.
But what if people say that about maybe the reality that you're trying to defend?
People do say that. Yeah.
But why don't you take that into consideration? Why do
I
you
do.
Why do you treat
I
it?
didn't say that there's not exceptions to.
I know you didn't.
And every,
what I'm saying is that statement of
I
divorce
think
makes me sad.
in today's society, I feel like that there is this commonality to relationships, that it's just, if things get hard, or if we don't like each other anymore, then we're done.
Yeah.
Let's just get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't like each other, and most of the time it gets hard.
A relationship is work.
Exactly.
No matter what it is.
And a
And
good
so what's
relationship
wrong?
is even harder.
What's
No,
wrong, Peyton, for me,
A good relationship
and
is
even
hard
did
one.
it maybe
When you
ill-founded,
care about
to hope for
you just let it go,
good
but when you
relationships.
care about it,
To hope that people can work through, when they've made this commitment, can work through it, and abuse and all that stuff put aside.
Yeah.
Can work through when they've gotten together in a loving relationship. Can work through, instead of just throwing their hands up as half of society does, and just say, "I want a divorce."
The root of my question is, why are you qualifying people's pain? Why are you making less of somebody's pain or more of somebody's pain?
I can't.
You can't look at somebody and just say they're getting divorced for no reason, because they're going through something very deeply painful.
True. It just
it might not be abuse, it might not be beating, but why are you disqualifying their experience?
That's a good point, and I probably shouldn't phrase it that way, but it seems to me that marriage doesn't hold the same commitment now as it has in the past.
Or maybe it was never a genuine commitment to begin with if you had to force people to stay.
Well, that's not good either. So it's a hard thing from both worlds.
All right. I think we should land this plane.
Okay, let's do it. We do have to pick a topic, right?
Do you want to flip the commercial?
Let's
New Year's, right? New Year's is the topic. Is it next week?
Oh, I
New
guess
Year's?
you're right, Jeffrey. Yeah.
A year in
New Year's.
maybe
So you
it's
just
like
want to make
memory,
it a new year,
What was Annalie? You had a suggestion, right? For New Year's?
Did I?
I thought you did. Maybe I
I
made that
might
up.
have. I think it might have been. I don't know. I don't remember now.
I think it was something to do with like. I can't remember either.
I'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
Why couldn't it just be the new year?
Whatever that means to you.
Whatever that means to you.
Is everybody okay with that, Mom?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anything else we need to discuss before we close off today?
I think we've done.
The only thing
a
I'd
lot.
say is the host was spicy today.
My
Yeah,
non-apologies.
Merry Christmas.
Have been given.
Spicy.
That was beautiful.
Well, thank you for everybody who's sat with us today and listened to our mumbled conversations, our jumbled conversations, our absurd conversations. If you enjoyed any of what you heard, please give us a like, follow, share us with anybody that you might know might need a little bit of companionship through the holidays.
A little bit of family in your Christmas.
Real family.
Even if it's a broken
Careful
one.
what you ask for.
I don't know how happy jolly it is right now.
That's okay.
Sometimes it just is.
All right, Eeyore.
Alright, sadness.
That's one place to live.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to figure out what the true gift we might be able to hold is, please drop us a 5 stars. Thank you.
See.